One really weird way of my own evolution was coming to painting, trained one way, and then shifting off to a completely different set of tools that I learned for one commercial application, and then having to find yet again another set of tools for what would be my final application of comics. Was initially able to work in advertising where you used markers, or at least at that point. These days you would do it all in computer and, it would all be a color tablet kind of thing. But back then it was actual markers. And still when I do color roughs these days, I use the markers left over or that I've continued to buy since then, just because I work on paper. That's my world. I wound up experimenting in my first comics works a number of ways. My first comic series I did mostly colored pencil on colored paper, which was a real cheat to try and get a sort of faux painted look. My own application of this stuff to comics, I was dissatisfied until I did enough time just investing myself in painting on the art boards, which would be a cold press board where you've got the ability for to absorb the watercolor or gouache paint. It was a long evolution for me to find the thing I was most comfortable with. Loads of artists are very comfortable with acrylics, and if you got anything else that appeals to you, it's all good. At the end of the day, everybody's just getting a digital file that they're printing from, and so if you create it all with digital tools, all that's workable. Because they still want the final thing to be this digital delivery. I've used to send in all my artwork physically into the publishers, and then they would do the scanning there and then return the artwork. Nowadays, I just pay my own resource of scanning the work for me. But for the most part, it's just color correcting and making sure that the files are going to be the most saturated for the appropriate way that what goes to print will look as much like the original as physically possible.